note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly K. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today this is part 2, meaning the second discussion we're having about the Reiner murders. Really shocking that happened in Hollywood recently, and Nick Reiner's arrest, and he was supposed to be arraigned today, but that has now been postponed to January 7th. So we're going to be discussing lots of news that has come out, and as you know, I try to stick to the facts as much as possible, or witness statements, if they actually saw something and are speaking to the media, whatever it is, right? We're going to go over all of that. We're going to go over all our favorite things here at Grizzly True Crime, which is map time. We got documents as well. We're going to go over some interview clips, some, as I said, witness statements, timeline, things like that. So if you like that, please like and share so others can find that we are live right now and doing this. Now, I wanted to show you this clip. This is an interview from 2016. I will link all my sources in the description box as I always do, in case you want to go and watch the full interviews yourself. This is Nick Reiner and his dad, Rob Reiner, right? And Rob has been murdered, and so has Nick's mother, Michele. And he's the one that's the suspect and has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances. He didn't enter a plea today either. That's been postponed, as I say, to January 7th. So put that in your diary. I think we could write it in pen, not pencil. I think it should happen on January 7th, but we'll have to see. Lauren, 911, said, "Merry Christmas, Grizzlies. Rest in peace, Mr. and Mrs. Reiner." Shame, man. Yeah, this case is very shocking. So if you missed part 1, I have linked it in the description box. Please go check that out, because there we went over a timeline, who's who, and all of that, right? Okay, so look, just look at this. Look at this clip right here. We're going to listen to it for about 1 minute. Okay, look at this.
For everyone, it's different. For me, the noise was basically, living in the family that I live in and catching heat for that sort of stuff. And also just...
For being a Reiner?
I guess. I mean, people would like to think that's a real bigger deal than it actually is, but it's really...
Sorry, I'm already going to interrupt. This guy, oh my word. He's got such a problem with his dad being such a megastar and then his grandfather as well. And that's his reason that he says he turned to substances, because he wanted to be a rebel. You know, he was in his shadow, in his dad's shadow and the grandfather. So I'm like, okay. But yeah, it's very, very scary, right? Arizona Gal said, "Proud to be a Grizzly. Grizzly K mods and fellow Grizzlies. You are the best." Thank you so much. Also, just quickly for context, if you missed part 1, Nick Reiner and his dad co-produced a movie called Being Charlie, and that was in 2015, and it was mostly based on Nick Reiner's struggle with substance abuse. But he wasn't an actor in the movie. They had actors and everything, but he wrote the script, right? And with a friend that he met in rehab. So these interviews, you could see the the poster for the movie behind them, a Rob Reiner film, Being Charlie. Right? So that's what the interviews are about. Just for context, so that you know, why are they having these interviews? What are they talking about?
Like, I was an emotional kid who had problems, and I just was not so fond of myself. So I kind of, had problems in that way. But in terms of the thing you were saying before, it's like, I think that our relationship was not as it was portrayed in the film. Like, there were this sort of like holding the line and being tough, but like, we didn't ever argue like quite like that. I mean, we did, I guess, to a degree, but it was never...
He was fiery. You don't seem very fiery to me. You seem like you might just...
I get crazy.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to set me off.
No. Some big blow-ups there.
No, we both can get pretty...
You don't roll easily.
No.
Oh my word. Did you see how Nick Reiner just said that? In hindsight, obviously, it's very scary to be like, I get crazy, don't set me off. Oh my word. Okay, look again.
Big blow-ups there.
No, we both can get pretty...
You don't roll easily either.
No, we can both get pretty hot, and there were times when we did get hot. But
you weren't like cold like that. He was very loving and compassionate. I just think that he didn't really know what to do.
What about mom?
Oh my word. Okay, just actually didn't go back far enough. Look at it.
But it was never.
So this is
He
Nick
was fiery.
Reiner.
You don't seem very fiery to me. You
I
seem
get
like you might just...
crazy. I get crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You don't want to set me off.
No. Some big
both-
blow-ups there.
Oh my word. It's like he is the suspect in the double homicide of his own parents. And he's like, oh yeah, I get fiery. You don't want to set me off. Okay, well, scary now in hindsight, as I say. Now, I want to show you... Wait, is this the clip I want to show you now? Yeah. Okay. Now, his attorney is Alan Jackson, who you might know as the attorney who represented Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey, or more famously, Karen Reed. And he is now the defense attorney for Nick Reiner. Now, I do not know how Nick Reiner is paying for that. Don't ask me, maybe with family money, which sounds just shocking, right? Like, imagine that. I don't know. I see a lot of people talking about that on social media. Not sure. Ellie Cat Sally said, love watching trials with you, G, and all the Grizzlies. Thank you so much. So let's have a look, because today I was watching all the live streams, and I'm like, these live streams went on for 5.5 hours, okay? The press was so ready in Los Angeles for this arraignment today of Nick Reiner, 32 years old, already charged. That's why he was going to be arraigned today, formally charged, all of that. And he was supposed to enter a plea, didn't yet. That's going to be January 7th. But charged with the murder of his mom and dad? Wow. And they say he used a knife. Okay. Now the press, they were there for 5.5 hours, as I say, waiting for him to arrive, waiting for him to leave, waiting to see what we could see from the courtroom. There is a little clip from the courtroom as well, which you could see a still shot here. We'll watch that afterwards. I want to show you what his attorney said afterwards, because that's all they got. So there's like this small clip, okay, of Alan Jackson speaking outside. Why? Like, shame. I don't know. I just feel like, could the district attorney, could no one see this coming? I don't know. Could they not give people a heads up? It's just so much, like standing out there. I don't know. Anyway, Alley Cat Sally, thank you so much for your sticker. Really appreciate that. So let's see what his attorney said. He's the only one that spoke to the media afterwards.
I just have a couple of quick words. First of all, and most importantly, this is a devastating tragedy that has befallen the Reiner family. We all recognize that. Our hearts go out to the entire Reiner family. There are very, very complex and serious issues that are associated with this case. Those need to be thoroughly but very carefully dealt with and examined and looked at and analyzed. We ask that during this process you allow the system to move forward in the way that it was designed to move forward, not with a rush to judgment, not with jumping to conclusions, but with restraint and with dignity and with the respect that this system and this process deserves and that the family deserves. So with that, we are set for January 7th for an arraignment. That's the next court date. And that's all I have to say at this point. There may be more at some other point, but today we're going to rest on where we stand procedurally, which is this was a continuance of arraignment. Nothing happened today substantively. We'll be back for an arraignment in the same department on the 7th of January. And we'll see you then.
The media. Oh my word, all at once now. And that was it, okay? So I guess he's famous for many other cases, but more recently for the Karen Reed case, right? So Southern Cali B said, G was deep in the rabbit hole today for us Grizzlies. I so was. Thank you so much for your sticker. I also want to show you, because I was waiting to see, did they show him in the courtroom? Like, you know, meaning Nick Reiner, did they show him? No. What we got was the following. Wait for it. Here we go. We got sketches. That's what we got. And in his he's in his self-deletion watch smock. So they weren't allowed to film him. Okay, I'll show you another picture of the sketches. So you could see some of the attorneys, I'll show you now, but these are the sketches. That's what we have. This is Nick Reiner, a sketch of Nick Reiner. Okay, in the courtroom today. So, Batgirl said, don't know if you've seen CNN's post. Rest in peace, Rob and Michele Reiner. I don't know what that means. because we're talking about the case. So if you want to send me a link, you can email grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. Thanks for being a member for 34 months. Now, here is a little snippet from the court hearing today.
And does counsel join in the waiver?
I join, Your
The
Honor.
court finds that the defendant has made a knowing and intelligent waiver of his right to a speedy arraignment, and that his counsel joins in that waiver. Matter set January 7, 2020.
At this juncture, it's too
Let's go
early.
like this. Let's go all the way back, and I want to boost it for you. So hold on one second. It's not very loud, is it? The sound, the sound is not so great. So hold on. We're going to go as they switch to this camera. Okay, here.
08098.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alan Jackson, along with Caleb Mason and Elizabeth Little, and Mortimer Jackson, went on behalf of Mr. Reiner, who's currently present in court in custody.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Habib Balian for the people. Jonathan Chung for the people, Your Honor.
Thank you. And counsel, how would you like to proceed today?
Your Honor, if we could, I would like to ask.
Lisa said no cameras in the courtroom, but here we have it, right? They did film it. That's what they said. They will not be live streaming. So they didn't live stream it, but they did capture this from the courtroom today. And yet they were not allowed to show him. So if I didn't make that clear, I'm trying to make it clear now then. They only showed us sketches of him. The camera was not allowed to look at him, okay? But you could see, here's the judge and here's the attorneys.
For a continuance of the arraignment, I want to enter a plea at this juncture. It's too early. We've coordinated with counsel from the DA's office, and January 7th, with the court's permission, will be a convenient date for us to come back for potential arraignment.
Thank you. At this time, I'll take a waiver, speedy arraignment waiver from your client.
Thank you.
Mr. Reiner, do you have a constitutional and statutory right to a speedy arraignment? Your counsel is requesting that your arraignment be continued to January 7, 2026. Do you waive your right to a speedy arraignment so that your arraignment can be heard on January 7, 2026? And does counsel join in the waiver?
You could just hear him there, and you can actually recognize his voice because of the interview clips and things. He says, yes, Your Honor. It's very soft in the background, but yes, Your Honor. Yeah, turtle suit is probably a good way to put it. It's a, for YouTube, got to censor that word. That's their number one naughty word, you know, the self-deletion word. Smock.
The court finds that the defendant has made a knowing and intelligent waiver of his right to a speedy arraignment, and that his counsel joins in that waiver. Matter set January 7, 2026 for arraignment in this department. Bail to stand at no bail. Anything further on that case?
Not by the defense, Your Honor.
Anything further?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And that was that, and then they spoke outside, which we just saw as well. So that's what happened there today. Now we move on to what we're going to look at next. Okay, so here we go. So many things to show you. You can't believe how much news there is just in 24 hours. We spoke about this case yesterday, and today already I'm like, oh my word, there's like 20 things I have to show you. So here we go.
Nick Reiner's escape ended the second this LA police cruiser rounded the corner and blocked him in on a sidewalk Sunday night. Zoomed in closer, you see officers hop out, guns drawn, and Reiner's hands instinctively shoot into the air.
He was found with good, solid police work, investigative tools used by robbery, homicide, and gang and narcotic division detectives with the U.S. Marshal Service Task Force involved as well.
Surveillance cameras from an Exposition Park convenience store show Nick Reiner wandering into the...
Look at him, just out and about in the public. He had stayed in a hotel. We're going to go over which hotel, the map time, all of that. Okay, we're going to go over documents, what witnesses said, what friends said, all the things still today. But there he is, out in the public with his backpack, okay? Just buying a drink at a gas station, and then the police are like, okay, here we go, we're going to get him.
Parking lot Sunday night with a distinct gait, red backpack slung over one shoulder. Inside the store, Nick Reiner grabs a drink and gets in line, nervously shifting from foot to foot, head on a swivel. This man, who appears to be a law enforcement officer, enters the store. This is the moment Nick Reiner appears to stare face to face with that law enforcement officer, stutter-stepping and maneuvering to not so subtly avoid him. As he
Stutter-stepping. I quite like that, okay. He's stutter-stepping, you could see, he's very nervous. He's like, oh my goodness, okay, well, why wouldn't you be hello? These are very famous people that you're accused of murdering, which just so happen to be your own parents. Where are you going? Damn, okay, so, wow, law enforcement officer walks in, look at that.
Drink and gets in line, nervously shifting from foot to foot, head on a swivel. This man, who appears to be a law enforcement officer, enters the store. This is the moment Nick Reiner appears to stare face to face with that law enforcement officer, stutter-stepping and maneuvering to not so subtly avoid him. As he walks out, a monitor above Reiner's head reads, "Recording in progress." Minutes later, LAPD wrestled Nick Reiner into handcuffs. Prosecutors have now charged him with 2 counts of murder for the deaths of his parents, Rob and Michele Reiner.
These charges carry a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty.
Outside the courthouse, Reiner's defense
Or the death penalty. You know?
attorney says the 32-year-old son is not yet medically cleared to appear before a judge.
Shame. If you've seen this picture, just like look at his hands. I know he struggles with substance abuse. I'm just like, damn, like his hands look hectic. He mostly keeps them in his pocket, right? Anyway.
Back day to day. The bailiff has indicated that the sheriff's department will take it on a day-by-day basis, and so hopefully he'll be cleared tomorrow.
Sunday night, neighbors say actor Billy Crystal was one of the first to appear nearly in tears at the Reiners' Brentwood home where they lay dead. Tonight, Crystal and some of the Hollywood couple's closest confidants, Larry David and Albert Brooks among them, said in a lengthy joint statement, strong and determined, Michele and Rob Reiner devoted a great deal of their lives to the betterment of our fellow citizens. We were their friends, and we will miss them forever.
You could feel the emotion as you read that statement. Tonight, prosecutors say Nick Reiner could appear before a judge for the first time as soon as tomorrow.
And he did, and then they postponed everything, right? So, somebody in chat says, damn it, I missed it now. Wait. I think, yeah, Debbie says California doesn't have the death penalty. So do you think the district attorney just said it for fun? That he could face LWOP, life without parole, or the death penalty? You think he just said it? They do have it. It's just they maintain the death penalty as a legally authorized punishment under state law, specifically for certain aggravated first-degree murder cases involving special circumstances. However, since March 13th of 2019, Governor Gavin Newsom has imposed an executive moratorium on executions, stating that no executions will occur during his tenure. So this halts executions, but it doesn't abolish the death penalty, so they do still have it. And so the prosecutors may still seek it, and juries may impose it, and individuals may be sentenced to death. Yeah, so that's why he said it, because he could face that. Josh Ritter from Courtroom Confidential, a criminal defense attorney, said it's unlikely that they'll pursue that, but you never know. You never know if they actually do, because he could. As the district attorney said, it's life without parole or the death penalty. Okay, now what I want to show you, before we do the map, okay, wait. Let's do this. Okay. So that we can first just get a little bit of context before we do some map time, because I want to show you the points that we know of so far. So let me try to do this. Nick Reiner's elusive movements across Los Angeles the weekend his parents were killed. And so, they say a picture is beginning to emerge about Nick Reiner's movements before and after his parents were killed. Hollywood legend Rob Reiner and his wife Michele Singer Reiner were found dead in their Brentwood home on Sunday afternoon. Nick Reiner, 32, was charged Tuesday with their murders, but authorities offered few details, including when or how the couple died, how investigators came to focus on Nick Reiner as a suspect, and what a motive for the crime could be. But a rough timeline is beginning to take shape, and we do love a good timeline, am I right? So they say a source familiar with the investigation told The Times that Nick Reiner was at the Pierside Santa Monica Hotel on Sunday. That was hours after Nick and his parents got into some type of argument at a Saturday holiday party at talk show host Conan O'Brien's home, according to several family friends. A hotel staff member told The Times police had been actively investigating at the hotel since Sunday and was still there on Tuesday afternoon. The management of the hotel did not respond to requests for comment. The workers spoke on the condition of anonymity because the person was not authorized to comment. Authorities also declined to comment on the hotel and what role, if any, it plays in the case. I do know that there's the rumor that the hotel was like covered in blood. There's like those headlines flying around. I'm like, whoa, just like tone it down, guys, tone it down. If there was blood in the shower, okay. If he had bed sheets on the windows, okay. But it's like breaking news. The whole room was just covered in, I'm like, calm. Okay. It feels a little clickbait to me, but okay, I'm pretty sure it sounds believable that they found some blood evidence in the hotel room where he was staying. Did they find the murder weapon is my question. I don't know, right? But they do know it was a knife. They do know that the victims were stabbed. So it says it in the documents now. I'm going to show you that today as well, meaning that he used a knife. So it says, it is unclear when he checked in and when he left the pierside Santa Monica, which sits a few blocks from the beach with rooms that start at $220 a night. When police got to the hotel, Nick Reiner was gone. So he's like on the move, hey? Gail MacArthur says, justice for Rob and Michelle. Thank you so much for your sticker. Now, an arrest near USC. Officers with the Los Angeles Police Department's Gang and Narcotics Division, along with the U.S. Marshals Task Force that typically searches for fugitives, tracked Nick Reiner down in South LA on Sunday night. That's December 14th, right? Wait, 14th? Wait, man. Yeah, December 14th, I think it is. On Sunday night, okay, according to LA Police Chief Jim McDonnell. The arrest was without incident, the chief said, and Reiner was found near USC around 15 miles from the scene of the stabbings, McDonnell said. He declined to prove details on how the suspect was found and apprehended. Reiner was taken into custody at 9:15 p.m. on Sunday and booked on suspicion of murder at 5:04 a.m. on Monday. KABC obtained the video. We just watched that surveillance video at a convenience store, and I'll show you that on the map as well. So they say unanswered questions. Prosecutors filed 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances against Nick Reiner on Tuesday afternoon. He also faces a special allegation that he used a deadly weapon, a knife, in the crime. LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman said, he also said that if you didn't see the press conference, we watched it together yesterday, okay? And it's linked in the description box for you. Still, officials have not offered a narrative about what happened. One key question is when the Reiners were killed, prosecutors have alleged, sorry, I've lost my place. I was quickly looking over here. What's happening there? One quick key question. Okay, prosecutors have alleged Nick Reiner stabbed his parents in approximately the early morning hours on Sunday, according to a news release. So they went to a party, that Christmas party on Saturday night at Conan O'Brien's house, right? An annual holiday party. And they had a huge argument there. And then it sounds like, I don't know if he then left and booked himself into that hotel, it's possible, and then returned to the house and killed them, allegedly. They were murdered. It's just he's the alleged suspect, right? Okay, is that what he did? Or was he like hanging around the house, or was he at the house? They also said he'd been at the guest house at some point too, so okay, the guest house on the property. So it says a specific time has not been disclosed. They said, we don't have that kind of specificity yet. LA Police Chief Jim McDonnell said of the timeline of the couple's deaths, we're waiting on the coroner to be able to try to determine as best they can at this point. On Sunday afternoon, a massage therapist, I'm glad they have this now here on the timeline. It's more widely reported now. Yesterday, when we first started speaking about the case, I wasn't 100% sure about this massage therapist detail, but now it's being more widely reported. So they say, on Sunday afternoon, a massage therapist showed up at the Reiner home for a weekly session with a couple. When there was no answer at the gate, the therapist called their daughter, Romy Reiner, who lived right across the street, right? And she arrived at the home and discovered her father's body, according to a source close to the Reiner family who spoke on condition of anonymity. The Reiner's bodies were found in their bedroom, in their Brentwood home. LAPD Assistant Chief Dominic Choi said at the department's weekly commission meeting. So it seems like early morning hours of Sunday makes sense, right? Which would be after the argument at the party on the Saturday. Now we tip over to early morning hours Sunday. I think that's when that happened, right? I just want to for my own peace of mind, just double check the dates on that. We did do a full presentation yesterday. So yeah, the 14th was Sunday, right? Yeah. Okay, party Saturday, sometime early morning hours, because by 3 p.m., then that next day, the daughter had been there. Pieces of the puzzle. With no official time of death, it's unclear whether Nick Reiner checked in at the Santa Monica Hotel before or after his parents were killed. Nick Reiner was living in a guest house. Obviously, the police will know that by now. Like, what time did he get here? Where's the footage? What time did he check in? How did he pay? All of that. Are we going to see him like did he pay cash? Was he trying to be sneaky or what? Are we going to see surveillance one day? The trial probably won't be televised. I already know. It's Los Angeles, right? Probably not. Just like the court hearing wasn't actually live streamed. I'm glad we actually have some footage from the courtroom today. That was amazing. So it says, with no official time of death, it's unclear whether Nick Reiner checked in at the hotel before or after his parents were killed. Nick Reiner was living in a guest house on his parents' property, and his mother had become increasingly concerned about his mental health in recent weeks, a family friend said. Authorities on Tuesday also declined to offer a possible motive for the killings. Nick Reiner had a long history of substance abuse problems and gave numerous interviews about his attempts at rehab and stints of homelessness. He said he was in recovery at age 22 when he and his father produced a film based on his struggles. But at age 24, he said in a podcast interview that he had since relapsed. With prosecutors alleging a special circumstance that Nick Reiner committed multiple homicides, he could face a death sentence or life in prison without the possibility of parole if convicted at trial. Prosecutors have not made a decision on whether to seek capital punishment. That review process can take months, and Hochman has yet to seek death in any case since restoring the officer's pursuit of capital verdicts last year. Silent Girl, thank you for your sticker. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat now. Map time, okay. Okay, and I'm back. So now let me bring up the map for you so that I can just show you the key points of everything that we had just read, right? Now I got to expand it again for you. Hold on one second. Let's do it like this. Make it nice and big for you. So we're going to Los Angeles. I just want to answer a question. Brooklyn1620 said, why do they have him in that turtle suit? Never seen anyone else put in that. How can anyone hurt their parents? Is beyond me. It's actually very common, right? Especially in cases like this. You know, they put Donna Adelson in a turtle suit. They put Richard Allen in one. They had Brian Koberger in one. Those are just off the top of my head, right? Okay, so Los Angeles, if we go to this area by the Exposition Park is where Nick Reiner was arrested. But where did the crime start and where was the hotel that he booked into? So if you look at the hotel, let's say they went to the party, huge fight between him and his dad, and then maybe he left the house, which is over here on the 200 block. It's not specific. YouTube disclaimer, this is public record. I'm not showing any specific addresses except for the hotel, which is public record. 200 block of South Chadbourne Avenue, right? That's where the Reiners lived. And they lived there since 1991. Rob and Michele had been married for 36 years. And they lived in the house for 34 years. And they had 3 children together, and Rob also has another daughter from his first marriage, one that he adopted, and her name is Tracy. She's 61. So Nick Reiner is the middle child, 32. There's a younger daughter, 28. Shame. Romy, the daughter, found their bodies. And then there's also the elder brother who's 34. That's Jake, okay? Now, if we go here, this is the Pierside Santa Monica. So this is the hotel that they say that he had stayed at, and where they're claiming that, you know, the whole room was full of blood and all of that. So I don't know about that. I'm not sure I trust those sources, but anyway, those headlines. But he had booked himself in here somewhere, okay? The Pierside Santa Monica. Let's just see, can we ride around the block? Like, how do we even access this? Let's go this way. We'll have to access it a different way. We're stuck on the road here. Sorry, buckle up everyone, I'm driving now. Okay, let's go like this. Yes, can we go here? Listen, Mr. Google man. Can it put us here? Excuse me. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, it still just takes us there. Okay. All right. But anyway, that's where the hotel is. And then if we go from there, I mean, it's right on the beachfront as well. He checked himself into a beachfront hotel before or after the murders? Wow. Okay. Interesting choice, dude. Moving on. So here, and then the house is over here. The 200 block of South Chadbourne Avenue, as you could see. And then where he was arrested was actually, and I'm not sure if he went there on a bus, on a train. They haven't said that yet, right? The Dawn said parents' unconditional love would want him to be forgiven or leniency. Well, we speculate so, right? We don't know, but the sentiment is very sweet, and I would assume so. Thank you so much for the sticker. So here, he was all the way over here, like 15 miles away from the house at this exposition park. And if we go there and we look at, here's Vermont Avenue and here's Exposition Boulevard. And somewhere along here, he was arrested. I just want to see where now, because I'd found it earlier. Okay, here's a Starbucks. Just wait. Let's put that little man on the ground here. Buckle up, everyone. I'm driving again. Turning around. Yeah, there. This is where he was arrested. And you could see it if you were to look back at the video. You could just, and you know, it's around this gas station. You could just see all the cars pulling in there, all the police cars and all of that, right? So that covers the map time of the timeline that we know so far. Of course, this will probably be expanded a lot as the case goes on. But there you could just see his route of travel, 19.7 miles total. I don't believe he has a car, right? Does he have a car? I think they said he doesn't have a driver's license. I don't know if he has a car or not, or if you called an Uber, or maybe got an Uber, bus, whatever. This will all be part of the evidence. Rob says, any Walmart? Not yet. We don't know about a Walmart in this case yet, right? Okay, so that's what we have there. Then I wanted to show you this, which says, close friends of Rob and Michele Reiner release statement on their lives and work. So the friends released a joint statement that I would like to show you. And in it they say, the full statement about the deaths of Rob and Michele Reiner by several of their close friends. The statement was released Tuesday to the Associated Press. It is signed by Billy and Janice Crystal, Albert and Kimberly Brooks, Martin Short, Alan and Robin Zweibel, Larry David and Ashley Underwood, Mark Sharman and Lou Mirabal. I'm so sorry if I said any of these names very wrong. Barry and Dinah Levinson and Ambassador James Costos and Michael Smith. Here is the statement in full. Going to the movies in a dark theater filled with strangers, having a common experience, laughing, crying, screaming in fear, or watching an intense drama unfold is still an unforgettable thrill. Tell us a story audiences demand of us. Absorbing all he had learned from his father Carl and his mentor Norman Lear, who he bought the house from, Rob Reiner not only was a great comic actor, he became a master storyteller. There's no other director who has his range. From comedy, to drama, to mockumentary, to documentary, he was always at the top of his game. He charmed audiences, they trusted him, they lined up to see his films. And based on the comments on part 1, yeah, I could see so many people are just absolutely shocked and heartbroken by this news. Nomfic, thank you so much for being a member for 25 months. They said also in the statement, his comedic touch was beyond compare. His love of getting the music, of the dialogue just right, and his sharpening of the edge of a drama was simply elegant. For the actors, he loved them. For the writers, he made them better. His greatest gift was freedom. If you had an idea, he listened. He brought you into the process. They always felt they were working as a team. To be in his hands as a filmmaker was a privilege, but that is only part of his legacy. Rob was also a passionate, brave citizen who not only cared for this country he loved, he did everything he could to make it better, and with his loving wife, Michele, he had the perfect partner. Strong and determined, Michele and Rob Reiner devoted a great deal of their lives for the betterment of our fellow citizens. They were a special force together, dynamic, unselfish, and inspiring. We were their friends, and we will miss them forever. There's a line from one of Rob's favorite films, It's a Wonderful Life. Each man's life touches so many other lives, and when he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole. Doesn't he? You have no idea. Shame. So that's the joint statement from the friends. Now here they say, Reiner family associate. I've still got a few more things to show you, including documents, of course. Reiner family associate details events before and after the killings were discovered. Okay, a person close to the family provided a detailed account of what occurred in the Reiner house after a massage therapist received no response at the gate. They say it was a Sunday afternoon when a massage therapist arrived at the white-gated home in the affluent enclave of Brentwood for a scheduled appointment with Rob and Michele Singer Reiner. The couple was scheduled to have dinner with Barack and Michelle Obama and others in just a few hours. Getting no answer at the gate, the massage therapist then called the couple's daughter, Romy Reiner, who quickly came by with a roommate. She walked in and found her father's body and the gruesome scene of his death. The account of what transpired is based on an interview on Tuesday with a person who's close to the Reiner family. The person who provided one of the first detailed descriptions of the tragedy from the family's perspective spoke to the New York Times on condition of obviously staying anonymous. Welcome, Lori. Because the immediate family was not yet ready to speak publicly. On Tuesday, prosecutors in Los Angeles charged Nick Reiner, the couple's younger son, with he's the middle child, youngest son, they have an older son, right? With 2 counts of first-degree murder in connection with the death of his parents, who were luminaries in show business and Democratic Party politics. Please, let's not do politics in chat. The second of 3 grown children to the couple that they had together, he had been living with his parents in a guest house on the property. A spokesman for the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office declined to comment Tuesday on the details of the investigation. In a news conference, however, the District Attorney, Nathan Hochman, said that prosecuting these cases involving family members are some of the most challenging and heart-wrenching cases that this office faces because of the intimate and often brutal nature of the crimes involved. The person close to the family said that nothing in recent weeks suggested that Nick Reiner, 32, would be capable of such violence. The person disputed accounts that suggested the family had been especially apprehensive in recent weeks, which is interesting because somebody else says the opposite, right? So they say in recent weeks about Nick Reiner's behavior. Nick Reiner had struggled for more than half of his life with drug addiction, but the person close to the family said that they were accustomed to working through his problems together. In 2016, the father and son had made and released a film together that was loosely based on their experience with the son's battles with, I don't want to say those words on YouTube because they don't like it, substances, okay? In fact, the person pointed out just the night before, the family had attended a Christmas party together. The gathering at the home of the comedian Conan O'Brien had been crowded with people in show business and neighborhood friends. The Times reported on Monday that Nick Reiner had behaved erratically that evening and had alarmed guests with his behavior, according to 2 people who attended the party. One of those 2 guests spoke out, again, wanting to be anonymous, to preserve relationships, said that Rob Reiner had rebuked his son, telling him that his behavior was inappropriate for a guest in someone else's home. Okay, imagine if that's why he lashed out. That's bad. Like, it's all bad, okay? Never murder anyone. That's not an option. But imagine if it's over just saying you're behaving and you're making everyone uncomfortable. Like, could you just stop that? Anyway, so it says the person close to the family was not in a position to dispute that account, but said that Rob and Nick Reiner did not have a heated argument and that the episode was being overblown. The intensity of any conversation that might have taken place between father and son may have been misinterpreted, the person said. I don't know. I feel like I rather would, in my me personally, I believe that there was some sort of argument because hours later, the parents were both murdered very horrifically, violently, brutally, and the suspect is that very son. He's innocent until proven guilty. I'm just saying he's the son. That's the suspect. So I think there was definitely tension there. Maybe it wasn't like such a huge, loud argument, maybe, like people are saying, but there's definitely something going on, right? So it says he took issue with news accounts that suggested the family might have left the party early because of the son's behavior. Okay. Nick Reiner's behavior at the party, the person said, was not unusual to the Reiners, who had grown used to it over the years. The day after the party on Sunday afternoon, Romy Reiner, 28, fled the house in anguish upon encountering her father's body inside the house. I can't imagine. Her roommate waiting outside called 911, the person said. When the paramedics arrived, the person said Romy Reiner told them that her brother lived on the property also, but she did not suggest to authorities that her brother might be a suspect, as some news outlets have reported. See, I do like a debunk. Okay, if they say that Romy said, you better look into my brother because he's dangerous, that's what the news said. Now, apparently that's not true, but I don't know. That's according to this source. So we've got to take it all with a grain of salt, right? Especially, obviously, now they're keeping the investigation very close to the vest, right? So it says Romy Reiner did not see her mother's body in the house and learned from the paramedics outside that she was dead too, the person said. Investigators did not find the son in the guest house. He was arrested without incident later that evening around 9:30 p.m. by officers from the Los Angeles Police Department Gang and Narcotics Unit, who had located him about 15 miles away near the neighborhood of Exposition Park, southwest of downtown. It was not clear how the police found him. Was it his cell phone? Was it like Find My iPhone or what? Was it Life 360? Surveillance? People reporting it? Maybe. Let me know what you think. On Tuesday, the Los Angeles Police Chief, Jim McDonald, said the coroner had not yet determined whether the Reiners had died on Saturday night or Sunday. I would say Sunday early morning hours, right? Sounds like it, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. The Los Angeles County District Attorney, Mr. Hochman, said the son would be formally arraigned soon, not today, January 7th. If you missed the beginning of the live stream, that has been now postponed to January the 7th of 2026. And so for now, he'll just remain on self-deletion watch in his turtle suit, in his smock, in the jail, waiting to be arraigned on January 7th, where he will have to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty to these charges that he faces, right? Okay, so I've got more things to show you, but what I'm going to show you first now is, in fact, the document. So thank you so much to Grizzly Cat for surprising me with this document. I love documents, and even though there's not that much detail in here, it's just so nice to have something official, you know? To have this in our hands and see the people of the state of California, plaintiff versus Nick Reiner. I just redacted his date of birth, not because it's a secret, it's out there, but YouTube can be fussy with that, okay? So, you can buy Grizzly Cat a coffee if you want. I'm putting the link in the chat if you want to say thanks too. So it says count one. Here we go. Oh, document time. Okay, count one. On or about December 14th. You see, that's what they say. On or about. They're not saying between December 13th and 15th. They're being specific. On or about December 14th of 2025, in the county of Los Angeles, the crime of murder in violation of the Penal Code Section 187A, a felony, was committed by Nick Reiner, who did unlawfully, with malice aforethought, murder Michele Reiner, a human being. Notice, the above offense is a serious felony within the meaning of Penal Code and all those sections, and a violent felony within the meaning of this Penal Code, right? Notice, upon a felony conviction for the above offense, prison custody time is to be served in state prison based on the above felony offense being a serious felony defined in Penal Code section that, and or a violent felony defined in that code. I just say that code because you can see on the screen, right? Or a felony offense requiring registration as a SO pursuant to the Penal Code section within the meaning of that code. Laurie Dobson says, being I'm guessing that's Patreon, right? Is it? Patreon member for over 24 months. Rest in peace. Or maybe just a member, right? Being a member. Thank you so much. You said, rest in peace. How can you harm the people that give you life? Thank you so much for your sticker. Yeah, this case it's very shocking and sad. Count two. On or about December 14th of 2025, the crime of murder in violation of that Penal Code Section 187A, a felony was committed by Nick Reiner, who did unlawfully, with malice aforethought, murder Robert Reiner, a human being, his father. That's the accusation, right? And that's all worded the same there. And it says, it's further alleged as to counts 1 and 2 that the offenses charged in counts 1 and 2 are a special circumstance within the meaning of Penal Code Section 190.2A3. It is further alleged as to counts 1 and 2 that in the commission and attempted commission of the above offense, the said defendant, Nick Reiner, personally used a deadly and dangerous weapon, to wit, knife. Said use not being an element of the above offense within the meaning of Penal Code Section, all of those codes, and causing the above offense to be a serious felony within the meaning of Penal Code Section. And that's the end of this document, right? Well, not yet. There's still these notices, right? So conviction of this offense will require to provide DNA samples and print impressions and all of these rules as well. Okay, and he could face the death penalty as well. Heidi Van Dijk, thank you so much for your €3 sticker. Okay, so that is what we have with the document. I still have a few more things to show you. How long have we been live? Okay, we've still got some time. We've got time. I'm just looking. I don't want to keep you here forever, you know what I mean? But I still have a few things to show you. So here we go. They said, Reiner children speak of horrific and devastating loss of parents, urge compassion and humanity. So they did speak out now as well. And here they say the children of Rob and Michele Reiner broke their silence Wednesday, issuing a statement thanking the public for their support in the days since their brother was arrested on suspicion of murdering their parents. I mean, it's unthinkable. can you imagine, like, your brother is accused of brutally murdering your parents? And it's just the added emotional factor, okay? Like this holiday season, their house was all decorated, ready for family time. They were a very close family. Oh my goodness. So traumatic. So it says, here's the full statement. Oh, but here firstly they said, Jake and Romy Reiner asked that speculation about the case be tempered with compassion and humanity. I like that. They said, words cannot even begin to describe the unimaginable pain we are experiencing every moment of the day. The horrific and devastating loss of our parents, Rob and Michele Reiner, is something that no one should ever experience. They weren't just our parents, they were our best friends. We are grateful for the outpouring of condolences, kindness, and support that we have received, not only from family and friends, but from people from all walks of life. We now ask for respect and privacy, for speculation to be tempered with compassion and humanity, and for our parents to be remembered for the incredible lives that they lived and the love they gave. Oh man. So the rest is not their statement. It's what we know already, right? Indy, thank you so much. Okay. Now, what is this one? Oh yeah, this was just drone footage of the house. So I'll just show you this quickly. It's a very short clip. It's such a beautiful home, and it was just all ready for the holiday season, for lots of family time, family, friends, everyone. So yeah, this is a just short clip of this beautiful family home where they'd lived since 1991, right? Wow. Okay. So there you go. Not much to say about this, right? Let's quickly see what you guys are saying. Yeah, a lot of people are wondering this. Christine said, wonder who's paying the high dollar lawyer he has. I wonder if it's a trust fund. Is it like, I don't know. There's so many things we could think of. I don't know who's paying that. Yeah, the media are obviously all outside as well. And that's pretty much that. Here's another angle of the house too. Look, you can see this tree is also decorated. Shame. Okay, now we've got about 4 more things. Quickly, one of them is this. This says, police rumors linger at Santa Monica Hotel where Nick Reiner stayed after the murders. I know they said slangs, but I do not like that word. Ugh, I hate it when articles say slaughtered and all of that. I'm like, come on. The language. Okay, so families in town for the holidays trickled in and out of the pierside Santa Monica Hotel on Tuesday afternoon on their way to the nearby pier. A hotel staff member who declined to provide their name because they were not authorized to speak to the media said police had been actively investigating the scene since Sunday and were still on site at the hotel as of Tuesday afternoon. They said that they were aware that Nick Reiner checked in late Saturday or early Sunday for an overnight stay. Oh, you mean that he checked in late Saturday, like after the Christmas party, after the fight with his dad, checked in and then went back to the house? Ooh, that would show a lot of premeditation, if so, if that's the timeline. That would be then in the trial easy to prove the premeditation. There's the fight, goes, checks into a hotel, leaves the guest house on the property, and then goes back. I'm just speculating a timeline, right? Jenny Lynn said, addiction is a family disease one person may use, but the whole family suffers. My heart hurts for the family. Same. Yeah, thank you so much for your sticker and message. They said construction worker Jay Geis watched news crews set up near the hotel while workers unloaded a pallet of drywall at a building site on 2nd Street. I think police are trying to keep a low profile so they don't mess with the hotel business. He said that, well, the investigation, I think they're worried about paparazzi, all the press, all the media rushing there, be like, what are you doing? That's where he checked in. And everyone's saying it's where they found the bloody shower and sheets. McDonald's employees on 2nd Street have a clear front door view of the pier side from across the street. Apart from stray camera crews, multiple employees confirmed they hadn't seen unusual activity in the area. We were wondering why all these cameras were standing there just recording an empty hotel, one employee said. Oh, okay. Now this guy is Rob Shooter, is that how he said? And he said, exclusive, inside the Reiner's final family showdown, ticking time bomb talks erupted weeks before tragedy, which is different to what the other friend said, right? So, but let's just hear it. Just weeks before the shocking murders, the Reiner family held what insiders now describe as a tense, emotional intervention-style meeting about Nick Reiner and what to do next. Sources tell me the discussion exposed deep fractures that would never heal. Everyone knew that Nick was a ticking time bomb, one family insider says. This wasn't theoretical, it was urgent. According to multiple sources, Rob and Michele Reiner wanted to keep their son close, believing safety and support were the answer. They truly thought love, structure, and supervision could save him, a source tells me. They refused to give up on their child. I mean, shame, man. They did everything possible, right? But not everyone agreed. They said 2 of the siblings were crystal clear, another insider says. They did not feel safe around him, not emotionally, not physically. Other family members pushed for a far more drastic solution. There was serious talk about committing Nick to a high-security medical facility, a source reveals. Not punishment, protection. The meeting ended without resolution. It was compassion versus fear, one insider says quietly, and fear was winning, except with Rob and Michele. Now, those unresolved arguments haunt the family. People keep asking what went wrong, a source tells me. The truth is, everyone saw it coming. No one could agree on how to stop it. Shame, oh my goodness. Then we have this one that said Nick Reiner had a reputation for violence, had always been troubled before he allegedly, see there's that word, that's why it's cropped out thankfully now, murdered. I'm going to say his dad, Rob, and mom, Michele. Okay, so now let's look at this. Now in this picture, this is Romy, she's 28, the younger child, the sister, right? Then we've got Nick Reiner, the suspect in the double homicide, next to her. Then we've got Rob Reiner, the victim, and then Michele Reiner, the other victim, mom and dad, right? And on the right-hand side, Jake Reiner, the elder brother, who's 34. And remember, Rob also has another adopted child. She's Tracy, and she's 61. So they said, Rob Reiner's son, Nick, was notorious for being violent, but I showed you a clip at the beginning of this live stream where he himself says, yeah, he's fiery, you don't want to set me off, so he said it himself, right? Okay, so it says, was notorious for being violent, and those around him instantly knew that he was the one who allegedly murdered his parents. Friends and neighbors told the Post on Monday. This is not the first time that their son has been violent. A long-time neighbor of the victim said of Nick Reiner, 32, who's charged with fatally, now this is speculation, they say fatally slitting the throats of his parents. We don't have those details. Police are not saying that. You know, the DA is not saying that. This is out in the media from what people heard. So I'm just going to take that with a grain of salt, but how horrific. Oh my word, if their throats were slit in their beds, and if they were then also stabbed multiple times, it's unthinkable, right? So they said in the family's Los Angeles mansion, they said, I know of another incident a few years back with Nick, but I won't say more than that, added the man, who declined to give his name. I just never thought it would get to this point. Rob was always heartbroken that his son couldn't beat his addiction, the resident said of the famed actor-director and the long drug-addled suspect. I know they wanted him to get help to go to rehab, but he wanted to get help while at home. He did not want to go to get treatment at a facility, the neighbor said. So that could be what it's about. Like, I mean, Nick Reiner could have said, there's just no way I'm going back to rehab. He's been to rehab 18 times or more. And maybe he's just like, you know, when it's, I'd rather die than go there, but that turned into homicide. I'm speculating, you know what I mean? They said, and I know they've argued about that for years. Nick has had demons for the longest. It's such a nice nightmare, the source said. The whole thing is a tragedy. Nick admitted in 2018 that he once trashed his parents' home during a meth-fueled rage. Now, we listened to that clip in part 1, so go check it out if you missed it. He spoke on a podcast called Dopey, but he was almost like giggling a little bit, like, oh yeah, like I was so, you know, out of it so high, and I just like trashed the guest house, broke the TV and everything. A lot of you pointed out in the comments that he seems almost braggy about it, which that sucks. They said, he says, it's not much of a story. I got totally spun out on uppers. I think it was coke, something else. I was up for days on end. He said on the Dopey podcast, I started punching out some things in my guest house. That's where everyone, oh my word, the comments on part 1, and please do leave your comments below here too, because I can reply to them with voice notes now, which is a really cool feature on YouTube. Everybody was saying, hey, why does he say my guest house? Because it's the parents' guest house? But I mean, he lived there. On and off quite a lot. They probably said it's your guest house, you know what I mean? Anyway, everything in the guest house got wrecked, he said. I literally punched the TV. A former classmate of Nick's told the Post on Monday that the suspect, who had been in and out of rehab since age 15, has always been troubled, and that she instantly knew it was him when she heard the news. This is a more recent picture of him, apparently. Right, because everyone's sharing the pictures of his interviews from 2016, but he looks very different now. Remember, he's 32 years old now. A second neighbor of the parents added, "I wasn't surprised to learn that Nick was charged with killing his famed Hollywood actor, 78, and director dad and wife Michele." The resident declined to elaborate. A security guard hired by the community to patrol the family's ritzy Brentwood hood because of looting after the Palisades fire in January told the Post that Nick had been living with his parents for at least the past year. You could tell something was a little off with him, the worker, Trevor, I don't know how to say his last name, sorry, said of the suspected killer's son. He's a strange individual. You know, this is a quote. He said, "You can tell he had like some problems with drug addiction. I think he was homeless a few times, but I know he lived in this house," the man added. The guard said that Nick specifically had one friend that he would invite to his parents' multi-million-dollar home. He said, "I would meet him right here, near the residence. I'm not sure who he was, but I'd always see Nick sneak off with him. I don't know what they were doing." Still, the guard said, "I never saw any violence with Nick. If Nick is the suspect, I would never have thought that he would have done this to his parents. Great people, the worker said of Rob and his wife. I would see them on a daily basis, every day. Every time they see me in my car outside, they always ask if I was okay, if I needed anything, food. On a rainy day, the wife gave me an umbrella because I didn't have an umbrella, and I still have it to this day." He said that when he heard the news of the murders, he said, "I was just in shock. I was like, oh my God, I know these people. They're the sweetest people in the world." The first neighbor also called Rob and Michele Reiner the kindest, most loving, and generous people you'll ever meet. "It is very, very devastating their lives ended this way. Rob was a dear friend, and Michele, I cannot imagine," the man said. "And their other kids, horrible they have to endure this." Okay, and I've got one more. This says, "I stayed with Rob and Nick Reiner weeks before the Grizzly," see that's Grizzly, like gruesome, okay? Grizzly True Crime is like the bear, right? Double Z, okay. Cat OG said, "Get a membership, Grizzly's awesome." Thank you so much, Cat OG, for being a member for 4 months. So this says, Rob Reiner and his wife, Michele Singer Reiner, were enjoying loving dinners and TV time with their children just weeks before being violently stabbed to death. Cinematographer Barry Markowitz, one of Rob's close friends and longtime collaborators, exclusively spoke to Page 6 about recently staying at the Reiner residence in Brentwood, California. "I may have been one of the last people to see them," he shared with us over the phone on Tuesday. So here it says cinematographer Barry Markowitz, who was one of Rob's close pals and collaborators, recently stayed at the residence. So on the left is Rob and on the right is Barry. Markowitz explained to Page 6 that Rob had invited him to stay at his home while he was in town for the November 14th premiere of his latest film, The Perfect Gamble. They would say, "You're staying here. You're not going to no hotel. There's no fridge, good toilet paper, no family," the Tel Aviv-based director of photography recalled. Markowitz joined Rob, Michele, and their kids, Nick as well, 32, and Romy, as they went about their days, business as usual. The couple's other son, Jake, was busy elsewhere with work. Romy was in and out of the house, and at dinner time she comes over and we all BS together, Markowitz said, while describing their time together. "We would scream at the TV, we would watch a movie and a basketball game, played with the dogs, family time, one big love fest." Markowitz noted that Nick, who has publicly struggled with drug addiction issues since he was a teenager, seemed to be on the upswing. "He looked great. He was sitting and talking with the family," Markowitz shared. "They ate dinner together, old school, and a lot of love, always a lot of love." Shame. Markowitz told us that during his visit, Nick would go out and play tennis or shoot hoops. He was also around and present during dinner time. He says he helped out, he took out the garbage, he watched TV, he washed dishes, the award-winning cinematographer recalled. "He'd bring me something to drink. He was just normal in that sense." Markowitz noted that he didn't notice anything strange with the family dynamics. "They were busy working and doing stuff," he said of the Reiners. "The help was there, the secretaries were there, in and out of the house, business as usual." So here's a picture of the 3 kids of the Reiners, and then of course there's also Tracy from Rob Reiner's first marriage, right? And she's 61, this is Jake, 34, Romy, who found her father's body, shame man, 28, and then on the right-hand side, Nick Reiner. And you can see he looks very different now based on the more recent photos, right? And just look at this picture. Shame, and oh my goodness. So there's the 3 kids and the parents. Man. Okay, so Markowitz described his 5-night stay with the Reiners as a blast. I think what's puzzling the most, the 360, is that there was so much love that it doesn't jive, Markowitz said, referring to Nick being arrested on charges of murdering his parents. I'm not here to judge anyone. Love is the only thing I saw, and I don't think it was fake. They had a real bond, is what he said. Of Nick's mental state, he added, it's just a sickness. That's my verdict. So I wonder if the defense would go with that sort of a defense, you know what I mean? Imagine if they go with self-defense. Oh my word. You never know. Defense attorney's got to work their case, you know? So look at this beautiful picture. Shame. Markowitz told Page 6 that Rob and Michele never, ever, ever gave up on Nick during his very public battle with drug addiction over the years. They gave him everything. They tried a million things with him, not giving him money but sending him to the top of the line places, he explained, referring to Nick's multiple stints in rehab. Rob never gave up. He tried everything. If you knew Rob, he was just a bundle of love. As for Michele, Markowitz described her as a balabusta, using the Yiddish word for an exceptionally skilled homemaker. Did I say that right? Did I say it right? Balabusta. Okay. She was the kingpin and she was the strength, the rock, he gushed. Ooh, even this picture, it looks hectic here. Now in hindsight, again hindsight. Just the way Nick Reiner's looking at his dad there a little bit. Oh dear. Okay. So here we've got more pictures of the family. Got Rob, Nick the suspect, like in between his parents, Michele, Romy, and Jake. All right, and so Markowitz, who was the cinematographer on the 2015 film Being Charlie, written by Nick and directed by Rob, also denied that there was any father-son tension on the movie set. He said, I cannot remember no tension. We were just having a decent time, all of us. One big family, and there was no fights, he claimed. Markowitz went on to tell us that Rob and Michele had no reason to think that Nick would ever hurt them, despite Nick admitting to once destroying his parents' home during a drug-fueled rage. Rob never had fears for his safety. He said, I'm not in his head, but we talked. Nick wasn't a violent type, he alleged. I slept in the same house as Nick. There was never a thought, I believe, in Rob's head that Nick was a danger. If he would have thought his life was in peril at any point, he would have handled the situation. Here's another picture of him, and definitely not a happy camper here, hey? You know what I mean? He's definitely struggling. So, but that is not an excuse to murder anybody ever, okay? With Nick being arrested in connection with the murders, Markowitz said he doesn't believe that Rob and Michele's son had any motive to harm his parents. When somebody is mentally disturbed, you don't need a reason. There's no rhyme or reason, he explained. Mental illness, that's the reason. That's his opinion, right? Markowitz, who worked on 3 films with Rob and viewed him like a brother, said he is totally broken after losing his friends. He said, I can't believe they're not here, he said of Rob and Michele. I'm looking at the iPad. Everything is Rob Reiner. I started crying. I want to call him up and say, hey, buddy. He added that Rob was like my family. 5 days later, I'm here in this effing nightmare. Shame. And people are putting all these flowers and things on the Hollywood walkway, whatever you call it, right? The Star Walk. Oh, man. Okay. And they said, as Page 6 previously reported, Rob and Michele were found stabbed to death at their home in Brentwood, California, Sunday afternoon. Rob was 78, Michele was 68. And we know the rest, right? We've been over all of that, so my goodness. Now I have talked a lot today. I hope that you got a lot of information here. That was my goal, to bring you as much information as possible that I was able to find today on this case, because so much, and I'm sure there's so much more out there as well. Thank you so much for being here. Please like and share, not because you like the topic. I know, that's awkward in true crime. Like, I don't know if I want to like it. If you like it, it's just data. It just tells YouTube, yes, she did a good job, and show it to more people, okay? Show it to more people. That's what that would be. If you want to leave a comment as well, I would really appreciate that, and I look forward to responding to some of you as well with some voice notes. And I will most certainly keep you posted. What we're going to do now is teleport to tomorrow's live stream, if you're watching live with me, because Brian Walsh is going to be sentenced, and I cannot wait to watch that with you. Okay, we watched the whole trial together. He was meant to be sentenced today. That got postponed to tomorrow. It was just a conflict with the court schedule, okay? So I will see you for that, for sure. I hope that there will be some victim impact statements, and I don't know. I hope he makes a statement, because let's hear what he's going to say, so we can snark at it as well, right? Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, and condolences to the family, to the friends of Rob and Michele Reiner. I mean, this is such a devastating loss. So many people are absolutely heartbroken. And I just hope that they feel safe here with us. Grizzly Cat says, thank you, thank you. And thank you all for keeping the chat grizzly, as we say, classy, respectable, no victim blaming or any of that. No politics, please, because that can get quite hairy. And I will see you all tomorrow. I'll put the link in the chat as well for you. Here we go.